But before we do that, let's have a different conversation. And here with me in studio, I have Jadia Mwarina. He is the managing director, Mwarania rather, the managing director for Kenya Re. We're about to have a very good discussion, but let me set the basis for you. So we have the Global Credit Rating, GCR. It's a global body that sort of does credit rating, especially when it comes to services such as banks, financial institutions, insurance corporates, and so forth. Kenya Re is one of them, and their credit ratings has improved over the years. On top of that, they are ranked number 6 when it comes to the Gender Equality Report 2019. What is Kenya Re doing different in both sides? Let's have that conversation right now. It's good to have you. Thank you so much for your time. And congratulations, first of all, on your global credit rating, as well as being appointed number 6 in terms of the Gender Equality Report 2019. Perhaps that's where I will begin my interest with. Why was it so important, or why is it so important for Kenya Re in this day and age to make sure that their voice, or that they are seen in this discussion of gender equality, especially in the workplace?
Because the nation is made up of 2 genders, and none of the gender is superior to the other, or so we believe, and therefore there is need to have fairness and equality as far as the genders are concerned. As a corporation, we actually have deliberately put in place a policy on gender mainstreaming, which specifies areas of equality in terms of recruitment of staff, in terms of training, in terms of availing opportunities to the staff, and in terms of generally being availing equal opportunity or level playing ground to both genders.
What has been the challenge of having to actualize this?
The challenge, for example, in recruitment, you don't want to sound discriminative, so you can't put an advert and say you want to employ one gender or the other.
Right.
So as a matter of complying with the law, you have to be sensitive to that. There's also the fact that when you have an opening available in the corporation, you need to get the best skills and probably not be so directly focused on in terms of the gender, yet you still have to achieve both. So that balancing act can sometimes be a challenge.
Exactly. And speaking of balancing act, how will RE make sure that in the years to come that gender equality continues to improve and still a focus point within the cooperation?
By keeping it a matter of policy. I've talked about the gender mainstreaming policy. It is a policy which specifies, for example, when you're doing recruitment, what you should do, how to be fair in terms of the genders, how to be fair in terms of availing opportunities to both genders, in terms of training, in terms of promotion, in terms of opportunities that come within the organization. So by sticking to this policy, we believe we are going to be able to keep this.
And as a corporate leader, what more would you want to see perhaps other institutions and even Kenya at large as an institution doing as a corporate leader?
We would like to see both genders really being given equal opportunities. Unlike some of the talk we hear in the national discourse or like in parliament where there is a kind of lack of parity, we would like to see corporates giving opportunities to both. We believe the brain power of both genders is equal, the abilities is equal, and therefore opportunities should really, as citizens, be availed by corporates to both genders.
Right. And as much as Kenya Re was ranked number 6 in this gender equality discussion, on a bigger discussion is inclusivity. So what is Kenya Re doing, or what has it done to make sure that it's also able to say, hey, as Kenya Re, we also can recognize people living with disabilities. We have improved facilities in our own office to make sure that our own colleagues, our own employees and employers are comfortable.
Inclusivity includes, among other things, also distribution. You know, gender is only 2, but we're in a country of many regions, many backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, for example. So we've made deliberate effort also to see that we spread ourselves to as many communities within Kenya as possible. And actually, if you look at the population distribution within Kenya Re, you'll find that most communities are represented there, and there's no community you'd say is really over-domineering the others. It is a reflection. We believe there's almost a face of Kenya in the corporation, and that's the way we would like to keep it. Now, in terms of disabilities, yes, we've also made effort to include persons with disability. We actually do have some, and we as you may want, you know that disability is actually the focus area for our CSR, and the belief is that disability is not inability. The fact that somebody has got certain disabilities does not incapacitate them from contributing to the political, economic, or social well-being of the nation. So for that reason, we have persons who have hearing defects, for example, working in the organization, impaired impairments in terms of seeing. And going forward, we think we'll still continue to have this constituency of persons with disability as part of the population of the corporation.
All right, back to the other side of the conversation, which is the global credit rating. Your rating has improved as a corporation from the previous year, and has improved in the sense that you've moved from a AA to a AA+. What is it that Kenya Re has done to see that improvement?
A lot, so much. You see, for the rating agencies, by the way, to increase your rating, you must have done a lot. They look at, for example, at your capital structure. How have you improved your capital in terms of enhancing it, and more specifically capital that has been stressed? By this I mean risk-adjusted capitalization, and this we've done a lot in terms of increasing it. They also look at your business portfolio. What kind of portfolio spread, for example, do you have across markets? For Kenya Re, it is spread across Africa, some in Middle East and Asia. What kind of portfolio do you have in terms of mix of classes of business? Again, there's a lot of mix in terms of various classes of business, whether you're talking of fire or property classes, marine and others. Stability of that portfolio, they will look at it. They will look at your influence in the market. They will look at basically how you're managing the portfolio. And very key also, they will look at the risk management. It's a very strong pillar in terms of the rating. How is your liquidity? How is your risk management? How sustainable is the portfolio you have in terms of your business model? So we've worked on all these aspects in terms of trying to improve them, and we believe we've convinced the rating agency, which is the reason why we believe they have upgraded the rating. They have also upgraded the local one. There's the AA, which is for the local, sorry. And they have also upgraded the international one from BB to B+. And the outlooks for both ratings is stable, which we think is a good thing. What
are some of these factors that have led to the new accreditation? And how will Kenya Re make sure that come next year you continue to remain at that level or improve even?
The factors will be the improvement in the capital, the way we manage the capital, the way we've grown the capital, and especially, like I pointed out, the risk-adjusted capital. The other one is having a stable business portfolio, where you've spread it out across countries in terms of geography, and also you've spread it out across various classes of business, so that it is stable and is not dependent on one class of business. There's also the aspect of risk management, which is quite key, extremely key. How are you managing your liquidity risks? Like I pointed out, what is it that you put in place in terms of risk management frameworks that will ensure going forward the corporation's risk management continues to be entrenched and continues to be enhanced. In terms of risk maturity, for instance, I would point out that we've attained up to a 79% risk maturity, which we think is a good effort.
What's the highest form of rating for reinsurance corporations, rather?
Different rating agencies have got different nomenclature of how they give their ratings. In the case of GCL, or Global Credit Rating, they have the highest as being AAA. And what they normally do is that if you're talking about the A category, they may have AA, then they have a AA+ or AA- to distinguish within that class of AA. But to answer your question direct, the highest is AAA, which they may put pluses on it, or they may put minus on it.
When do you see Kenya Re attaining that one? How long? Will it be under your leadership?
That is a focus. We would like to get it yesterday. We're working overtime to achieve it, but we are also alive to the fact that rating agencies look at a trend. It is not an event. Rating is not an event. It is not performing very nicely in 1 year and you think that you're going to be regraded. It is a question of being consistent and having a trajectory, a provable trajectory of financial performance and performance in terms of other aspects of the corporation. So we have the model of the rating and we are following it through. We are doing everything we can every day to achieve the highest possible within the shortest time possible.
Right. We need to close up, but before we do so, we're in December, we are ushering in a new year in a few weeks to come. So what does the future of Kenya Re look like?
Bright. Extremely bright. Yeah, we being a listed company, I may not talk in terms of numbers of what we are going to
what
announce.
Should Kenyans expect in the new year?
Better performance than last year, for sure, in terms of gross written premiums. Better performance than last year in terms of investment income. And we are targeting obviously to give better profits than we did last year.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, again, congratulations on attaining your new global credit rating, and also being the 6th on that gender equality report for 2019. Very great strides that Kenya is making, for sure.
Thank you.
Sana.
Thank you.
That's Jadia Mwarania. He is the managing director for Kenya Re, just having a conversation around the fact that they have been credited or rated as a double A plus, but the goal is that's triple A, right?
Yes.
And on top of that, they have been ranked number 6 on the gender equality report. You've heard from him in terms of what they're doing as Kenya Re to make sure that they make it at that number, or at that level rather, and how to even improve it more. And not just for men and women in workplaces, but also for people living with disability. Right now, we want to take a short commercial break. We still have a few more updates for you, including touching base with some of our reporters on the ground. And like I promised, we're still keeping an eye on what's happening at the Milimani Law Courts. Let's take that break. See you in a bit.